But being between guidance systems isn't our only problem. As our friends in the marketing industry know, we're also clueless. Although the equipment clearly doesn't work the way we assume it does, we just keep assuming it will work the next time. We keep expecting our intelligence to rule despite the overwhelming evidence that it doesn't. Accepting the truth has enormous implications. Of course, it's absurd to continue to depend on a connection that we know isn't dependable. So either we have to find ways to make the connection between intention and behavior more dependable, or we have to find ways to bypass the connection altogether. One way to make the connection more dependable is to use what Pete Greider and I call the follow-through formula. The follow-through formula is a recipe for making lemonade out of lemons. It's a way to get what you feel at the moment to support rather than oppose whatever you've intelligently decided you should do. Let me give you an example of the follow-through formula in action. John tried unsuccessfully for years to stick with an exercise program. After he learned about the follow-through formula, he made one small change that made all the difference in the world. He simply agreed to keep his underarm deodorant in his locker at the gym and to have none at home. As John put it, I used to tell myself, John, you really should go to the gym, but I rarely listened. Now I feel like I absolutely must go to the gym. I have no choice. It's either go to the gym or stink all day. And once I get to the gym, I'd feel pretty stupid if I just used my deodorant and left, so I exercise. Another way to improve the connection between intention and behavior is to use technology to make up for what the mind fails to do on its own. An example of this approach is the motivator. The motivator is a simple electronic device that's designed to improve follow-through by making sure that intentions stay in the spotlight. The motivator works by repeatedly sending its user a silent private signal that focuses the user's attention on any chosen intention. By guaranteeing that the intention will stay on the front burner of the user's mind, the motivator increases the influence that that intention will have on the user's behavior. Here's an example of how the motivator works. Let's say at 8 o'clock in the morning you decide that you really should improve your posture. If you're like most people, by 9 o'clock your good intention has already sunk to the bottom of your mind where it won't do you any good at all. However, if you used a motivator programmed to send you a private signal, say every 5 minutes all day long, your intention would stay at the top of your mind and you'd actually improve your posture. Engineers take gravity into account when they design buildings and bridges because gravity is a fact of life. The Great Disconnect is also a fact of life, and it's about time we started taking it into account in designing virtually every aspect of our lives. Take safety, for example. We already know that people who intend to be careful will at times be careless. So shouldn't we tell our engineers that it's no longer okay to design machines and environments that are safe only if used in accord with the accompanying safety instructions? When we're ready to take the Great Disconnect seriously, there will be opportunities galore for inventors and entrepreneurs to develop new products, systems, and services that help us behave in accord with our intentions. Shouldn't our cars, for example, guarantee that our good intentions will rule? Shouldn't we be able to program them to prevent us from doing whatever we, as individuals, have intelligently decided we shouldn't do, like drive if we're impaired, speed unless it's certifiably necessary, or drive in a way that wastes fuel? How about programmable refrigerators that only provide us with access to food in accord with our own intelligent decisions rather than our fickle cravings? And how about credit cards that don't allow us to buy whatever we've intelligently decided not to buy? How about asking our medical researchers to deliberately create allergies to foods or even situations that we've intelligently decided we should avoid? And while we're at it, why don't we develop habit-forming versions of the drugs that people must take to stay healthy? We routinely ask our alarm clocks to force us to wake up at a time we intelligently choose. If we take the Great Disconnect seriously, I believe we can find all kinds of ways to give people the opportunity to register their intentions and then essentially be forced to behave in accord with them. If the word force makes you cringe, consider this. If we accept the disconnect between intention and behavior as a fact of life, we may be forced, there's that word again, to change the way we think about personal freedom. Frankly, our definition of personal freedom may need to grow up. I'm not proposing that we restrict our freedom to choose what we as individuals should do. I am proposing that we restrict our freedom to not do whatever we've decided we should do. The first kind of freedom, the freedom to choose, is worth fighting for. The second kind, the freedom to not follow through, isn't worth dying from. And it's that kind of freedom that's literally killing us. In light of the Great Disconnect, being willingly forced to behave in accord with our own intentions may actually be the ticket to a more realistic and satisfying kind of personal freedom, one that ultimately results in a healthier, happier, and more productive society. If you don't believe it, ask Tiger Woods. I honestly think we could have saved him from a world of hurt. We can only be as good as we can be if we face our limitations and use our ingenuity to find a way around them. We developed microscopes and telescopes because we accepted the fact that our eyes alone would take us only so far. And we did the same with flying. We can now fly in airplanes not because we ignored our physical limitations, but because we accepted them. We move forward only when we stopped flapping our arms and started using our ingenuity instead. I have no doubt that we have the smarts to figure out how to follow through despite the mind's limitations. But first we have to accept as a fact of life that the equipment we came with does a lousy job of connecting our intentions to our behavior. Until we accept the truth, we'll just be flapping our arms and trying to fly. Thank you.